Ever wonder how much you're going to get from Canada Pension Plan and Old Age Security? Well, actually, it can be quite a bit, but it totally depends on your situation. So in this video, we're going to look at three things: the maximum amount you can get, what people are getting on average, and how you can find out your own numbers. $2,161 per month. That is the maximum amount a Canadian can receive if they are 65 and collecting both CPP and OAS right now, which is early 2025. And that's guaranteed. Well, as much as anything can be. And it is indexed to grow with inflation. So this amount will keep getting bigger over time. Now you may have noticed that I drew the benefit line a little shy of the inflation line. And that is simply because, technically speaking, these benefits are set to increase with the cost of living as measured by the Consumer Price Index. And I just have a tough time believing that the Consumer Price Index has been honestly reflective of the actual inflation that we've all been experiencing. But either way, the fact that both of these benefits do grow with inflation is great. Okay, now how did I get to $2,161? Well, according to the Government of Canada website, we can see that the maximum benefit for OAS is pegged at $727.67. And the maximum benefit for CPP in 2025 is $1,433. Add those two bad boys together and you get $2,161. If you round up the pennies, which I do. And if you have a spouse who is also in the same situation collecting the max, then go ahead and double that number to $4,322 per month. Now, maybe your spouse is a different age and so their CPP benefit is slightly different, but you get the idea. It can be a significant amount of money each month, especially if you delay these benefits to age 70. Now, I realize that you might want to punch me in the face for even suggesting that idea, but all I'm doing is showing you the numbers. I am not suggesting that this is the right idea for you. It might be, or it might be a terrible idea. But I already have a video that goes into all those shenanigans in tons of detail, so we're not going to slug it out here. But anyway, if you delay CPP to age 70, the benefit increases by 42%. So if you're getting the max, 1,433, and you were to increase that by 42%, then you would have a benefit of $2,035 each month. And if you delay OAS to age 70, it increases by 36%. Not quite 42% like it does with CPP, but still 36%. So if you're getting the max, $728 per month, and you were to increase that by 36%, then you would have an OAS benefit of $990 per month. Add those two together and you're looking at $3,025 per month. And that's without even factoring in the inflation indexing that would have happened with those benefits along the way. Again, there are very good reasons for and against delaying your benefits. But no matter how you slice it, getting over $3,000 a month, indexed to grow with inflation, and guaranteed for the rest of your life is not too shabby. Oh, and here's another fun fact. When you turn 75, your OAS benefit goes up by another 10%. And you get this bump regardless of whether you delay your benefit or not. You get it simply for being good looking. So there's that too. Now, how do you know if you'll get the maximum possible benefit? Well, for OAS, it's really quite easy. As long as you've lived in Canada for 40 years after the age of 18, you're good to go. Full pop. But for CPP, it's a bit trickier. It's based on the contributions you make while you're working. But as long as you max out these contributions for at least 39 years, you're good to go. Full pop. Anyway, obviously not everybody is getting the maximum amount of CPP and OAS. So what are people getting on average? Well, for CPP, they simply tell us right on the website. Well, they tell us last year's numbers, but that's close enough. It's $808 per month, which is just over half of the maximum possible amount. As for OAS, I have absolutely no idea, and I can't seem to find that info anywhere. Now, there's a decent chance that I'm just blind and it's right in front of my face on one of these websites, but no. Anyway, if you find this info somewhere, drop it in the comments below and enlighten us all, please. Bottom line is this: your OAS benefit is entirely dependent on how many years you've lived in Canada. So the average number doesn't really matter. What matters to you is your number, and that is easy to figure out. As long as you've lived in Canada for 10 years after the age of 18, then you are eligible to collect old age security. And again, if you've been here for 40 years after the age of 18, then you are going to get the maximum possible amount. But if you've been here for less years than that, then you're going to get less. And to figure that amount out, all you have to do is add up all the years you will have been in Canada since age 18 until age 65, and divide that number by 40. So for example, if you will have lived in Canada for 20 years after the age of 18, then just divide 20 by 40, which is 0.5 or 50%. And that's your number. You will receive half of the maximum amount. If you will have lived in Canada for 30 years after the age of 18, then just divide 30 by 40, which is 0.75 or 75% of the maximum possible benefit, and so on. But if you absolutely detest doing any math whatsoever, you can just use the OAS estimator. You'll need to do a bit of legwork and gather some details, but it may be worth the time and effort, as it will also tell you if you qualify for guaranteed income supplement and other income-tested benefits. Now, what about CPP? How do you figure this one out? Well, you're going to have to deal with Service Canada. Your first option is to simply call them and get estimates over the phone. And I've heard that lately this is actually surprisingly quick and painless. But unfortunately, the estimates are often quite sloppy, so I wouldn't really trust them for anything more than just a ballpark estimate. If you're wanting to get more accurate, you're going to need to log in to Service Canada and track down your statement of contributions. But let me warn you, if you're logging in for your first time, you need to prepare yourself for the very real possibility that you will end up curling up into a ball, sucking your thumb in a corner. This could be one of the more frustrating experiences of your life. But who knows? Maybe you'll end up being one of the lucky ones and just sail right on through. But even once you do get in, do not get too giddy. Getting what you're looking for in any kind of timely fashion is far from guaranteed. I just gave it a shot while making this video, and here was my result. Now, to be fair, I did just give it another shot today before shooting this video, and I was able to get in. Anyway, once you do get your statement of contributions, you can take the numbers that you get from that statement and plug them into a calculator that actually does work, like this sweet one built by our friends over at PWL Capital. All you need to do is plug in your details, including your age, your past income, which you can find on your statement of contributions that you just got from Service Canada, your life expectancy, etc. And then it'll do the math for you. It'll tell you how much you can expect at 60, 65, and 70. It'll also tell you how much you can expect over your lifetime based on when you take it. And it'll tell you quite a bit more than that if you want to spend the time with it. And if you do, I highly recommend that you check out the video about how to use it that my friend Adam from Parallel Wealth made. It's super solid. Anyway, that wraps up what I wanted to show you today. But for those of you who are looking for a far more detailed look at CPP and OAS, including the pros and cons of delaying the benefits, I have a full deep dive video that goes through all the nitty-gritty that you can access simply by clicking here, or wherever it ends up being.